You mean the left isn't
The
as
left
dangerous?
is not as dangerous because they still believe.
I would say that they are. That's an interesting one because it seems like the right wingers are the ones with the guns and this and that, and we'll take over. It feels that way, but I mean, all of a sudden, the last few years, I'm looking at who the mass shooters are and this and that.
Bill Maher is left shocked after he hears what a fellow comedian friend of his has to say about Donald Trump. Folks, I think you're going to like this, all right? It's no secret that many people corralled around Trump shortly before the 2024 election. Many people who you may have not expected, all right? Bill Hackman, longtime Democrat, Wall Street, gazillionaire or something, is a prime example. And then you've got many others that we will get into soon. So, including this comedian guy. So with that being said, we're going to get right into it. It's going to be fun. But first, do me a huge favor here. Like our video and share it around so we can keep bringing you all this great, hard-hitting content. And as always, Patriots, I'm your host, Darian, and this is Resist the Mainstream.
Luckily, the Puerto Ricans, and I knew this going into it, and I knew it at the last second when I was doing it at 2:30 in the afternoon, which was another terrible problem. If there's one thing I was upset
that was
about,
in the afternoon, that rally?
It started in the afternoon, and it was supposed to go to the evening. When I got there, I go, when am I going up in this thing? And they go, you're up first. Can you imagine?
Oh, you opened. Opened for the Trump rally.
I went up after the God national anthem.
But did you do it because you're a supporter of Trump or just because it's an opportunity and a paycheck? Was it a paycheck?
No, it wasn't a paycheck. I did it literally to hopefully, get some, hopefully, if only 10,000, not to mention 100,000, maybe 200 if we're lucky, actual people to vote for him. Yeah.
Oh, so you did want people to vote for Trump?
Yes, without a doubt.
Okay.
I think he gets a weird rap in this world, man. And,
we're going to have to break off on that.
Break off on that as Bill Maher breaks out yet another handle of vodka. Seriously, does this guy just binge drink and smoke pot on every single podcast episode he does? It seems to think so. Now, jokes aside, or is it a joke? I don't know. I'm actually quite surprised to see that Tony Hinchcliffe over here, this comedian, actually didn't get a paycheck to support Trump. And, I do believe him. Okay, I always thought of the guy's longtime leftist and Democrat, but that is interesting. Now, what I will say is there is some skepticism to be had here, okay? For one, he actually is, by his own admission, a lifelong Democrat, or at least Democrat in recent memory. And he says himself he's pro-abortion and pro-smoking. Okay, interesting. And it's kind of easy to endorse Trump after so many other people did. All right, let's not forget, this was at the Madison Square Garden rally. All right, that's right before the 2024 election. All right, and who endorsed Trump before Tony? Well, you've got Elon Musk, Dr. Phil, to name a few. Okay, big people are talking about. Even The Rock was talking positively about Trump. All right, that loser. And he really is a loser. The Rock was super pro-Biden. He was saying in 2020, guys, we got to choose love. I'm usually not political, but we need Biden and Kamala. They're such good people. Then he was suddenly talking positively about Trump later when he saw the wind blowing the other day. Total dipwad. Now, is Hinchcliffe doing the same thing? I don't know. All right. That is for you guys to decide. But, with all that being said, he does make some good points about the left and how insane they are and why he supports Trump. Take a look at this.
It's just the leftist kind of thinking and that kind of stuff, because they are as crazy in their own way. They're just not as dangerous.
Right. You mean the left isn't
the
as dangerous?
The left is not as dangerous because they still believe.
I would say that they are. That's an interesting one because it seems like the right wingers are the ones with the guns and this and that, and we'll take over. It feels that way, but I mean, all of a sudden, the last few years, I'm looking at who the mass shooters are and this and that, and it is creepily.
I'm talking about our way of life, which is governed by the type of government we have.
Yeah,
and they are still constitutionalists and institutionalists. Now, have they nibbled at the edges? Yes. Have they invited, as always, like we were saying with the other thing, there's always an invited backlash when you go too far. So, did Joe Biden do things that were imperial presidency things? Yes, of course he did. He said in his own words something like, the Supreme Court said I couldn't give student loans, but I'll find a way. Okay. That's not nearly what Trump is doing, but it invites that kind of argument from the right, which says, they all do it, And you know what? That's the problem. If you move a little bit here, Trump's going to go, oh, well, but king me. I'll just jump over you and go 10 steps further and worse. Yeah. And so that's where we are. But yeah, I don't think they are equally dangerous because one side really would like an autocracy. They really don't want to have to deal with the left wing at all. They think the left wing is such an existential threat to our way of life that it would actually be better to be an autocracy than to be a democracy where they might win. And I would be very surprised if the next election is one that will just go smoothly. It only goes smoothly like the last one when they win. When they win, it goes smoothly. When they lose, it's a shit show because they don't accept election results.
Okay, a lot to unpack there. First of all, the left is undoubtedly a threat to our way of life. If you look at polling, for instance, just about half of Democrats literally don't believe in freedom of speech. And if they say they do, they're often lying because they say, well, I believe in free speech, but not hate speech. Hate speech is anything they disagree with. So no, they hate the First Amendment, right? That's abundantly clear, whether they admit it or not. That aside, look at the social policies they support. It's sick. I mean, child sex changes. How is this even a topic of debate? Somehow the left has turned this into a situation, oh, you're anti-trans. Made up word, by the way. If you disagree, let the child get, brutalized. It's okay. It's okay. What? Yeah, they are a threat to our way of life. And it is so rich for Bill Maher to sit here and say, oh, they don't accept results of the election the right way. They're so terrible. They're so bad. Really? Did you live through 2016, Bill? Because I did, and I'm a lot younger than you, and I remember it, okay? I was literally becoming an adult, just becoming an adult back then, and I saw the insanity that unfolded. I mean, it is nuts. You had this whole thing about Russia. Oh, Russia stole the election. Trump is in Putin's pocket. He's in bed with them. Blah, blah, blah. Golden showers. All that stupid stuff. I mean, it's crazy. They impeached Trump. They couldn't accept the election results, so they impeached Donald Trump. But the right doesn't accept election results? Please, spare me the BS. That's ridiculous. Now, Maher can sometimes be reasonable. In fact, did you hear about his recent meeting with Trump? Maher kind of brought that up and said something else that happened as a result of it. Look at this.
Larry David said, I'm a Nazi.
He did?
Well, he said I had dinner with Hitler.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and by the way, and I think literally when we say we do it to themselves, how dare anyone call Trump Hitler? That is such an insult to the Jewish people.
That's exactly what I said when I did an interview about it. That it's like, among other things, first of all, as soon as you play the Hitler card, you've kind of lost the argument, unless you're really dealing with Hitler, which, yes, we're not. But agreed. Like, it is quite insulting to the ones that Hitler. I mean, Hitler, I keep calling him the goat of evil. He's the goat.
Oh, yeah.
You can't. Don't try to, don't enter that conversation like who was better than Michael Jordan, okay? Right. It's Hitler, all right? Yeah. Hitler's Michael Jordan of evil. Yeah. All right? LeBron's great. It's different.
Yeah.
6 rings.
Yeah.
6 million people dead. Yeah. It's just like, stop it.
Yep.
It's funny because at one point, Larry David actually partook in a comedy that essentially ridiculed the idea of tying Trump as some kind of evil, irredeemable, hateful person, which in this case, rather than being a Nazi, was him calling him a racist in a parody of sorts. Remember this?
And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight.
You're a racist!
Who the hell is I knew this was going to happen. Who is that?
Trump's a racist!
It's Larry David. What are you doing, Larry?
I heard if I yelled that, they'd give me $5,000.
As a businessman, I can fully respect.
Yeah, so much for that. He is a loony leftist just like the rest of them. With all that being said, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We truly appreciate it. As always, We need your help, everybody. Hit that subscribe button, all right, and make sure we can see you again. Comment below. Let us know what you liked about the clip, what kind of stuff you're going to see in the future, and we'll see you again soon. And to our continued subscribers, we really appreciate you so very much. God bless.